she knew he thought about her. Not because he said so. He didn't say anything. Not because he called or wrote. He didn't call, didn't write. She knew because she'd learned to notice what people think they're hiding. It was her gift and her problem at the same time. Maya could see the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching. She saw it because she had learned to look without turning her head. She'd sit reading or staring at her glass and see everything in her peripheral vision. He came to this cafe every Monday. The cafe was called Neighbor, small, with big windows and good cappuccino. He knew she was here on Mondays. She knew he knew. They hadn't spoken for 3 months after she ended it herself. But every Monday, he was here, by the window. And every Monday, she was here too, by the far wall. This was their silent agreement. No one had proposed it. No one had accepted it. It had just happened. Or they had both chosen it. She thought about this sometimes.
I pushed him away. He came back anyway. Every Monday. Same cafe, same window.
About how it would have been easier for either of them to choose a different cafe. Neither of them did. They had met at a party at mutual friends. Not romantically. He spilled red wine on her white dress. The dress was expensive. The stain, obvious. He was horrified. She was calm. The dress was boring anyway, she said. He laughed, unexpectedly, genuinely, from surprise. Not because she was witty, but because no one responds like that in that kind of situation. Nate, he said, and I think I owe you a dress. Maya, and you don't. I said it was boring. Still, they talked until the end of the party. His name was Nate Barnes, an architect, 32 years old. There was something about him, not looks exactly, not charm in the usual sense, but precision, precise movements, precise words. He said little, but what he said was always exactly what he meant. Nothing extra. Maya was used to men wanting to impress her. Nate, it seemed, was just talking, like with a person, like with an equal. That itself was impressive. They started dating. 5 months. 5 months is both little and a lot. Enough to know someone. Not enough to have become so used to them that you no longer notice them. He was good. That word sounds simple, but it contains everything. He was kind, without being saccharine. Reliable, without being dull. Attentive, without being suffocating. When she was irritated, he didn't try to fix the situation and didn't take it personally. He just gave her space. When she was happy, he was happy with her, genuinely, without performance. After 3 months, Maya realized she had fallen in love, and was so frightened by this that 2 months later, she ended it herself. After. She told herself she had reasons, and she did. She didn't know how to be in a relationship without constantly controlling the situation. She was used to leaving first. She was afraid, not of him, not of pain, but of how good she felt with him. Good was scarier than bad, because when things are good, there's something to lose. She called him on a Sunday evening, said they were too different, that she needed space, that she wasn't ready. He listened without interrupting. When she finished, long silence. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Yes." "All right," he said, quietly. "All right." He didn't beg, didn't ask why really, didn't get angry, just accepted it. In some ways, that was the worst of all. The first Monday after, a coincidence. She came to Neighbor as usual. He was sitting by the window. They didn't look at each other. She had her coffee and left. The second Monday, she came again. He was there again by the window. By the third, she was no longer pretending it was coincidence. They both knew each other's schedules. They both came. Neither left when they saw the other. Neither moved closer. Once every 2 or 3 weeks, their eyes would meet. A few seconds. Then both looked away, without haste, without making a show of it. This was something of their own, without a name, without rules, just Mondays. On the 12th Monday, she counted. Yes, she counted. He stood up earlier than usual. Passing her table, he stopped. "How are you?" he asked quietly. She looked up. "Fine. You?" "Also fine." A pause. "I'm glad," he said, and walked to the exit. 2 words. Not, "I miss you." Not, "Can we talk?" Not, "Why did you really do it?" Just, "I'm glad." She watched him go and understood, with the same clarity with which she had once understood she was in love, that she had made a mistake. Not then. Then she had done what she knew how to do. Now she was sitting in a cafe glad about 2 words from a man she had let go. More glad than about anything in those 3 months. That was the mistake. The next week, not Monday, Friday, she came with a friend. By coincidence, they just happened to be nearby and walked in. He walked in 10 minutes later, saw her, and paused for a second. She could see by his face he hadn't expected her here, and she saw something else. Joy, fast, immediately controlled, but she caught it. "Hey," Maya said to her friend, "I need to do something." 1 minute. She stood up, walked over to him at the counter. "Nate." Maya. Even. Face. Neutral. Eyes. Not. "You've been here every Monday. 3 months. I like the cappuccino here." Nate. Long pause. "Yes," he said quietly. "Every Monday." "Why?" He looked at her, not trying to hide, just looked. "Because I don't know how to stop thinking about you. And I'm not sure I want to know." She said nothing. "You said we were too different," he added. "I've been thinking about that for 3 months. I haven't figured out where we're different." "Nate, I'm not asking for anything." He raised his hand. "I'm just saying." She looked at him, at this man who had come to the same cafe for 3 months, who hadn't written and hadn't called because she had asked for space, who had said, "I'm glad," and left, who was standing at the counter now, saying the truth without demands. Most people can't do that. "The cappuccino here really is good," she said. He looked at her for a second, then smiled. That smile. "Tomorrow?" he asked quietly. 3 seconds. "Tomorrow." They met. Then again. Then again. Maya felt what she had spent 3 months building. That distance, that wall, beginning to crack. She noticed it and didn't stop it. That itself was an answer to the question she had spent 3 months not wanting to ask herself. One evening, 2 weeks later, they were walking along the river, an autumn city. Quiet, street lamps. He took her hand without asking. Just took it. She didn't pull away. They walked. "Maya," he said. "Yes, I need to tell you something." She could have stopped him. This was the moment. She felt it, where she could have said don't, and he would have accepted it. She didn't stop him. "Say it." He stopped, turned to face her. "I don't want Monday windows. I don't want nods across a room. I don't want tomorrow. And we've met a few times." She looked at him. "I want you," he said. "Fully. For real. I know you're afraid. I don't know of what exactly. You haven't told me. I'm prepared to wait until you do."
I ended it because I was scared. He just kept coming back, every Monday, without a word.
"But I need you to know it's not just, I miss you, and not just, I think about you. I want to be with you, specifically." She was silent, thinking about how he was standing in front of her saying this. Without games, without manipulation, just saying what he wants. Most people don't know how to do that. "That's not fair," she said quietly. "What isn't?" "Being like this." She looked at him. "I ended a good relationship. The right kind of relationship. Because I was scared of how good I felt with you. And you keep coming to the same cafe and telling me the truth. That's not fair." He was quiet. "I'm afraid I'll do the same thing again," she said. "That I'll get scared and leave and hurt you again. That's my risk," he said. "I accept it." "Nate." "Maya." He was still holding her hand. "You're smart. You know that. You know how to measure risk and make rational decisions. But sometimes the rational decision isn't the best one." She looked at him. "I'm not asking you not to be afraid," he added. "I'm asking you to be afraid and stay." Long silence. The river. The street lamps. Autumn. "Okay," she said. He didn't answer immediately. "Okay, as in, that's a yes," she said. "I'm staying." He exhaled, quietly, like someone who has been walking a long time and has finally sat down. They stood by the river. She thought about how the fear hadn't gone anywhere. It was still there, somewhere inside, in its place. But fear and decision are not the same thing. You can be afraid and stay. She chose to stay. A few months passed. On Mondays, they still went to that cafe, but now, together, at the same table. Sometimes Maya would look at his chair by the window, empty. Now someone else sat there. She thought about those 3 months, about the Mondays when they hadn't spoken, about how he came every time. One day she asked, "Did you ever think about going to a different cafe?" He looked at her. "No, not once, not once." He picked up his cup. "That was the only place where I was near you. Why would I leave?" She looked at him. "That wasn't normal." "No," he agreed. "But it was honest." She thought about that, about how honesty comes in different kinds. There is the honesty of words, and there is the honesty of actions. He had come to the same cafe for 3 months, hadn't said anything extra, hadn't pushed, just was there. That was also a declaration, without words. She had understood it. She just hadn't been ready to accept it before. Now, she was.